Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Calder Ness. This episode, we have some very special guests. We have Joe Harrison and John Michael DiGiulio on the podcast. This episode 569. Howdy, howdy. Let's get rowdy.
Do you really wanna click save?
Leadership,
Roll a 6, make a move extreme.
token up,
Taking action from your team. I go straight to your start. Hypersonic speed.
roll a 5,
Getting brave, hitting blades, claws, fangs.
KO,
Stick and move, click a few just to hit a stop. Need a 3 CCE on a flurry close.
tear your dials apart.
Once the timer starts, do you really wanna click save? What's going up must come down. Do you really wanna click save? Baby, you gotta bounce. Find the word you soon become. You're the best, the judge is wrong, but you apply the damage on. Roll your dice for initiative, son.
Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. And if you want to get Heroclix straight from the source, you can go to shop.wizkids.com. Use code DIALH10 for 10% off your order over there. Joining me, like always, in the studio is Ian Eggleston. What's up, Ian?
Yo, we have a third drop this week. That's right. Craftworks Forge going live July 17th are the new Prism packs for $49. You guys can check out our YouTube to see what all comes in that. But they are pretty cool. Some custom lantern stuff for the upcoming Lantern Legacy set. So definitely check out the video. Reach out to Adam at craftworksforge.com or Craftworks Forge on Facebook. And yeah, let them know what you think.
Code DIALH100 for 100% off your order. I think he's honoring that totally.
Yeah.
It's a joke. I'm kidding. Joe, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my man? The U.S. national champion. Your U.S. national champion, Joe
That's right.
Harrison.
That's right, Calder. I deserve that. Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's good to be here. I really appreciate this opportunity to come on and talk some clicks. And yeah, glad John Michael's up here. And it's going to be a good one.
John, introduce yourself to everybody listening at home.
Yeah, man, I'm honored to be here. It just goes to show you that all you got to do is hang out with the soon-to-be champ, and then people treat you like you won the whole thing too.
And you prefer, what was it? Was it profit or was it? What was the term we were going for? Psychic, the guy who could shot call it all. I think it was
Gambler.
One of those gambler. Oh, geez, aren't we all? But we're gonna kind of kick things off with what made us happy this week. If Joe or John, either of you guys want to go first? Start with Joe. Start with the champ.
Alrighty. What made me happy this week? This is good news and bad news, but
Ooh.
I got in a relationship, and I now am retiring from Heroclix, and I have to immediately sell all my pieces. So I'll give you guys a really good discount on it.
Hey guys, thanks for listening
Awesome.
to Dial H for Heroclix.
Perfect.
That was the podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I know.
No, yeah, just joking about the last part, obviously. But yeah, really excited. Yep, really exciting time, and just an awesome time to be in Heroclix, meeting a lot of new friends like JM. We met at Rock Cup, but we kind of got to know each other at Nats. So just a really exciting time, having crazy conversations this past week with John Michael about teams and getting ready for regionals and that sort of thing. It was just a really good week all around, but that was definitely the highlight. Met a really good girl. Actually, I met her when I went to Champion Clicks, and now we've made it official. So it's really cool.
Bringing people together. I love this. That rocks. Okay, John, you got to follow that up now, bud. Whatever.
I'll do mine's so
Whatever
much
you
more
got,
simple. I just went on a little, my wife took off early from work, and I did too, and we went on a little date to go see Superman, and then we hung out, and that was it. It was pretty cool, but sometimes simplicity is what you need.
Spoiler-free 1 out of 10 review of Superman.
I'd give it anywhere from a 7.5 to an 8.5 as a non-Superman, as a Superman hater. as a Superman hater.
Yeah. All
let's
right.
go! Let's go!
Yeah.
Man, this gonna be a great show. I didn't know you're
Yeah,
chill
buddy.
like that. All right. Sweet, dude. Ian, what made you happy this week, my man?
Oh, of course, getting our ceiling repaired, Calder.
Yeah.
It's a joy.
That's
Yeah, you know,
well, I wouldn't call it repaired yet.
it's
I would
not
call it
repaired.
the process of.
It was worse than they thought. It wasn't just a little bit of like drywall or anything, you know. They had to really chip up the ceiling. So, yeah. No, in all honesty, what made me happy was definitely receiving the Craftworks Forge package. I know I already talked about it. I'm not here to promote it more, but genuinely, it was just really cool. It was exciting. And we've got another surprise coming as well. We'll be filming some more tonight. So, the other thing too is I'm making a hard commitment to 30 videos in 30 days. Today was day 5. Tonight will be day 6. So that's been getting my gears turning. I've been having a lot of fun doing that.
As well.
And how about
It's
you,
been-
Dang, this is the real
it's been-
sweatshop.
Dude, it's been tough. Yeah, dude, we're content house.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart, dude. Making content is tough. It's real tough.
Well, you know, it all kind of spawned from we hadn't put out a lot in the last couple of months, and I was just like, got to get back on the horse. So what better way to do it than to just all in, you know? That was really the
Absolutely.
thinking behind it, is just why not put our foot on the gas? So we're going to keep doing it.
Heck yeah. Now, what made me happy this week? I'm really excited. I got to head on over to Ocon. There's a local anime convention. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's no other local anime convention, NebraskaCon, but Ocon's pretty fun. Hanging out with some friends. We're gonna keep going the rest of the weekend. Hang out more tomorrow and everything. And it's just been pretty chill. I love going to cosplay conventions, stuff like that. Hanging out, seeing all the cool costumes. It's just a blast. All right, we got some studs in the podcast studio right now. So why don't we go ahead? Let's let the listener get to know you guys. Let's go ahead and do a little Heroclix origin story, real tight, quick story about when you started playing, what was kind of the first set, a couple sets you were playing with, some favorite figures, how you got into Heroclix. Joe, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, so I believe I was 12 or 13. The first Heroclix set that I remember my friend getting, who actually got me in, he was an older cousin of mine. He got the Galactic Guardians. It was one of the first Oreo base. It was right after Incredible Hulk, and it had the silver based, with the Doctor Doom on the silver surfboard and that sort of thing. That was one of my first Heroclix sets when I got in the game. And my first set, I actually bought my first little booster pack. It was the Avengers movie set, and I had saved up a week's allowance to blow it on that Avengers movie booster pack. And the first booster I pulled, the Chase Odin, the Anthony Hopkins Odin Chase. And I didn't realize how busted he was at the time, because obviously I just got in the game, but he was a monster. So for the first year or two of Heroclix, that's the only piece I played with as a 12-year-old kid, and we were building 500 point builds and that sort of thing. So that was right around the time it switched from the old dial style to the Oreos. So we were still playing with we started ordering a lot of the Web of Spider-Man and Giant Size X-Men and that sort of thing. So, I've been playing since the Golden Age stuff. That Nightcrawler, that was also a staple in our little home game circle that we were playing. The one that could drop ship and poof people over, and that's actually the best Nightcrawler of all time. For some reason, they haven't legacied him, but so that's when I got in, and I've taken some breaks, here and there, but I got into competitive for the first time last year at the Rock Cup. And that was my first competitive event about a year and a half ago.
That's
that
crazy.
Nightcrawler-
Starting so soon. Oh, no, yeah, dude. That
Absolute
Nightcrawler rules.
menace. I got back
Love
into
him.
Heroclix around when he released, and I remember just seeing his dial and being like, "Oh, I need to get that piece." That is
Yeah.
so broken.
Insane. Yeah. Absolutely insane.
So I terrorized my locals a few times with that. Then I was like, you know what? He can go back. He can go back in the box. We don't need to be doing that anymore.
He's
Yeah,
one of those
I'm hoping-
figures. you kind of pick, or at least I picked up early because I was like, I got to get my favorite characters, and I got to get like cool version of Cap. I got to get cool version of like Punisher, War Machine, Nightcrawler. I'm like, Dad, this is Nightcrawlers. He's no joke.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping they legacy that one in the X-Men '97. So that'll be my dream.
Ooh,
Bold predictions.
it is bold prediction, dude. Shot call right now. Buy him up.
Putting it out there.
And then if they don't legacy him, blame Joe.
Yeah, blame Joe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he told me. I heard it on a podcast.
Joe is confirming that it's getting a legacy card right now, guys.
Confirming. Whoa.
Yeah. Insider information.
Oh boy.
Spoiler alert.
John, what's your HeroClix origin story here, my man?
I want to say I started, and Legacy was the set that we were like playing sealed with when I was a kid. The one that the Legacy Green Lantern is from.
Yeah, that's legacy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then I played all the way through like Hammer of Thor or Mighty Thor. I forget. When I got out. We didn't have equipment or primes or pink powers. But my favorite piece was Professor Zoom. He was like 99-point LE from Icons. I remember you just gave that dude armor piercing, and he was just a menace, just pinging people. And then I got back like for my wedding a year ago in April. My best man got me my wife and I a starter set. I think it was like Marvel Studios Disney Plus or What If, a starter set from a few years ago, and I like started to play with my friends, and then I would like call them and be like, "Dude, we gotta look at other HeroClix." We'd like sit on the phone talking for hours about like rediscovering HeroClix, the guy that I played with whenever I was a kid. And then my first competitive tournament was since I was a kid, because I went to a few when I was a kid. Was King of New Orleans in January, and so yeah. I feel like I'm like all the way back at this point.
That's awesome. You've been playing. You're talking about some. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Armor piercing, all this stuff over here. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, protected original, like the OG Fortify.
Yeah.
That Professor Zoom, the LE, I had ordered. I think I was like 9 years old, and I was like begging my mom. I think it was like $10. I'm like, please, can I get this Zoom? And she's like, okay, fine. And then whoever I ordered it from, I think it was like, Amazon or eBay or something. They accidentally sent me the Colossal LE Phoenix. And then they were like, oh, our bad, but you can just keep it. And then they sent me a Zoom as well. So very fond memories of that piece.
Yeah.
I remember getting the box and being like, this doesn't look like Zoom. And I was actually like kind of angry. I was like, this is not my boy. This is not who I'm looking for. So yeah.
Pretty good consolation prize.
Decent.
Yeah.
Decent.
It was funny, like right before I got back into competitive, like a year and a half ago or two. It was about 2 years ago. It was right when it's a funny story, like this little. It's almost memeable now. This kind of romance I have with 048 Ghost Rider. We had this like Secret Santa thing, and my brother-in-law, who I started playing HeroClix with when I was 12, he was about to go to Italy, and I got him a Secret Santa present, and it was the brick of Wheels of Vengeance. That was like the set when I was getting back into the game, and I wasn't even planning on getting back into HeroClix, but I just got that as kind of like a going away present for him, so we could just have kind of go down memory lane again. And then before we opened our brick, we were having like a little sealed home tournament, just a 1v1, and we looked through the set list, and we saw 048 Ghost Rider, and we were like, that trait sounds like one of the craziest abilities of all time. And like so I had that little like attachment to that piece from the beginning. We didn't pull him in the brick, which was unfortunate, and then I instantly bought him off of eBay. But yeah, that's just a little funny factoid.
It was just a match made in heaven from the beginning,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep, right from the beginning.
So you guys are both like relatively new to competitive and just making waves. Also, like in your own way. I think that's why a lot of players have kind of admired you and given you this pedestal. Obviously, the winning helps too. But yeah, you guys have made some really innovative teams. I've been following both of your builds very closely, and it's just exciting to see people playing, the way that they want to. So I know you guys are both big proponents of that. But with that,
yeah.
are there any figures right now that you might not have had hit the table that you're looking at and going, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main one that comes to mind for me is the Legacy Iron Man from Collector's Trove.
Okay.
Okay, I like that piece.
Because I think, like, right when Collector's Trove came out, we were kind of in a equipment light meta. Like, there wasn't that much equipment before Collector's Trove. I think now everyone on a team is equipped, it feels like, and that piece is just like he's just not dying to equipped pieces.
Yep.
I'm
He was
looking
taking
at
no
now,
damage.
his stats are a little lackluster. I mean, the 10-10,
They are.
17-4 to open is pretty good. A little perplex, so you won't get to use that because Beetlejuice, but I'm kidding. But a solid running shot piece. I mean, back in his day when he was like 225 and, he was nerfing resources, he was a bit of a menace, so I could see a
Iconic.
resurgence there.
Yeah, me and it's a funny thing about that piece. I've only practiced it once, but yeah, me and John Michael have talked about it a lot. Like it literally just you have to roll a 4, 5, or 6 to even do 1 damage to him. It's a 1 through 3. A 1 through 3 just does nothing, and it's not just attacks. It's any damage dealt to him from an equipped character. So like Juggernaut's guaranteed damage that he gets after the charge, or poisons, or anything like that. He gets the roll if it's from an equipped character. And I actually practiced that. I actually played him at 100 with Mern in a little practice game versus Dylan Cassabon. And Dylan wasn't playing like one of his A teams. He was trying out a lot of new pieces, but that Iron Man just his entire team was pretty much equipped, and you can literally just run that piece out in the middle of the map, and it just never dies. At 100, it really never dies. So it's a pretty crazy piece.
Would you ever pair that with something like Kevin to re-roll the rolls as well? Or is that might be too much of a point sink?
Yeah,
140?
at that point,
Kevin's still. I mean,
no, go ahead.
you're getting a lot.
Yeah, you're getting a lot for. If I played Kevin with that Iron Man, it wouldn't even be for the heal because he's not taking much damage anyways, and they're probably not attacking him. That they're probably just kind of ignore or accepting the fact that Iron Man's going to be on the map the entire game, and just going for the rest of your force if they're all equipped. Because it's just a waste of time to attack that Iron Man if you're equipped. So if you did play Kevin, it probably wouldn't even be for the healing. It would probably just be for like stat buffs with the enhancement. Like
I was thinking more for like the reroll for when you do take damage. It's like, I'm still not going to take damage.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
you
like
would
the
definitely
same idea with Ulysses.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe there's a point denial team in the making here. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah,
It's
definitely a don't die piece.
Interesting.
I think one piece that I've looked at, and me and John Michael have talked about it because he's tried to help me. He's tried to help me fit it somewhere because I think now Chair Panther isn't quite as. He's still great. He's still an S tier piece, but he's not like top 3 piece in the game and like an auto play almost on a lot of teams. So I think the only reason I was playing him beforehand was just for rivalry, because rivalry was literally the only one shot. I mean, Canon Event sucks, but rivalry really can hurt my team with the Colossus. And so I think now with Chair Panther not being like an auto play, I'm looking at 30-point support options, and one of those would be like Black Symbiote. I really like the Crimson Gem on Ghost Rider, but if you do the Dream Ruby build, it kind of makes him less of a target to want to be attacked because they're just going to be dealing damage to themselves. But I really like the super strength on the Crimson Gem. So I've kind of tried to combine those two equipments with playing Dream Ruby Rider and then just self-killing the symbiote right at the beginning of the game. You are burning 15 points, so I don't know how I feel about that yet. But if you could...
What do y'all think about that? What do you think about burning 15 points to put symbiote on your team? Ian and Calder,
weird.
you like that or no?
It
is weird. I like it personally, but it's weird.
I've seen a lot of discussion around the symbiotes lately, for whatever reason, on like Facebook about, self KO while they're equipped, so that way they can pass their equipment off, or a few different just weird synergies like that. Giving up 15 to start, I feel like where it would get kind of weird is if you were in a matchup where you know your opponent's going to be playing like particularly defensively, but then
Mm.
in that match maybe you're not killing the symbiote. So I think it could
Right.
very
You could,
well be an
yeah.
underutilized piece, but 15 points is it's a little expensive.
Well, the way
Great
John Michael,
theme to do this, or are you playing like Monster
I don't-
Cosmic?
I don't play theme anyways, really.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I was
a non-theme. I'm a non-theme guy. I think that JM convinced me when he was like, "Would you flip a one shot like Mind Gem, for instance? Mind Gem is 10 points, and people willingly flip that all the time, and it does change the game. And then the symbiote thing is essentially, would you flip 15 points to give your Ghost Rider created shape change, and then so now he doesn't have to pick a pilot that has shape change. He can do like one of the better offensive pilots. And he was like, "Would you flip a one shot for 15 points to give him shape change, steel energy, and super strength?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would do that." So I mean, that's kind of what put it over the edge for me, I think.
That's an interesting way of framing it. And yeah, the fact that it is, it's optional to KO it. Like there'd be certain
Correct.
matchups where you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you can use it as fodder first, like or just like body block with it first. Make it frustrating to fight.
yeah. Another point about that is I think it's a lot more viable of a strategy killing the symbiote now. It's a good point that you made, Ian, about if you're going up against someone defensive. But the thing is now with Barrel gone, I think the symbiote got a lot better because your opponent can't play defensive. It's a much less defensive game now with Barrel out of the meta. So you just play hyper aggressive now, and you don't have to work like Ghost Rider's just going all over the map because he ignores almost everything anyways. So I don't think you have to worry about the clock quite as much now if you're playing fast.
Sure. I think part of it too, there might be some apprehension to playing this as well, because a lot of what he offers is through other equipment, or it's just through other free elements as well. Like shape change in today's game feels like a costless power. It has
Yeah.
no cost, right?
Yeah,
And then
it's
as you
really
pointed
sweet.
out, it's like you can afford to pick a more offensive pilot, but again, I could just get shape change from that pilot. So paying
Yep.
points for things that, necessarily you don't have to, I think could be the argument against it, but by
Sure.
no means does that mean it couldn't work. I think this is really cool.
I also think Ghost Rider is a particularly customizable character, like anybody with a pilot trait is. But it kind of almost lets you have like a similar type of customizability that a pilot trait gives you for any piece without a pilot trait. Putting it
Yeah.
on like somebody who needs Kong. Kong, right? Kong just has those things. Like he has blades and sidestep and shape change now if you kill the red one or something.
It gives Kong an Ares bomb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And also, I mean,
he needs help.
you can also equip the symbiote then for Kong specifically to drop an equipment for Kong so you can
For
KO
Kong.
it, give him the blades,
And he can have both.
and
Yeah.
whatever.
I would probably give him the
Yeah.
motorcycle. I would probably give him the motorcycle just to give him the triple rollout.
There we go. Okay. Now we're talking.
Gross.
Yeah.
Forget what
I
you've
think you
heard
guys
here.
might be onto something here.
Yeah.
I actually really like this.
Yeah. Edit this out, please.
Oh,
No, there's no secret. There's no secret tech.
Oh,
Joe,
yeah.
you're not changing your team anyway.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. But yeah, like John Michael, you specifically, I think you got put on the map after you were playing that wacky build with like Aquanix or Aquanix, however people want to say it, and like the Harley Quinn as well. Are you still as big on Harley Quinn as you were when you first started with competitive?
Oh, I'm so much bigger on her now. I mean, I liked her before, but I'm absolutely smitten with her at this point. Yeah, I love her. I can't tell you how many times she just scores way more than she's worth. She just, yeah, I absolutely adore her. Originally, like I was thinking she would just be like a cool piece to have in the middle of a fight and like in the middle of a match. But as I played her more and more, like she ends up being the thing I drop off with Zala or Diana, which is
Sure.
kind of kind of unusual, but I think it's more that like it right now in particular, maybe this is just a function of Pogs coming out and starting in next phase, but there's a lot of scoreable one-click pieces on everybody's team.
Mhm.
And if you can get a pulse wave out there that's not necessarily like, a 100-point piece, just scoring, all of their time breakers and the weasel and copycat, like that gets you're already more than what Harley costs anyway at that point.
Sure.
So like that's really where I see her value is that when you look at the field, like even the sturdiest teams are going to have like one pog on it or a time breaker or something.
So you can consistently get more than the points you're paying for. On top of that, though,
Yeah.
you were also very much like the pioneer for like giving her trick arrows. And that was something where I looked at, I was like, what the heck? Like, what's going on here? And you had sent me like a pretty detailed message of all the things you can do with the trick arrow. So I wanted to give you a center stage if you wanted to reveal some of your trick arrow tactics with Harley.
Oh man. I mean, I think
Just
obviously
no.
everybody.
I'm good.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
will absolutely.
Okay.
I think you can't do a lot of them with the pulse wave, but what's interesting is that if you play against someone who's expecting the Harley Quinn pulse wave, or like maybe they have PJ Lucas Scott, you can just select a too dangerous in one of your three, and when they group up around their PJ Lucas Scott, you can just shoot that and turn over a too dangerous. There's not really a whole lot of defensive formations that are going to account for both that and the pulse wave. My favorite ones to use with Harley everybody knows Big. Big is awesome. You're getting a free Quake. That's just ridiculous. But Sonic giving out action tokens to everybody she hits with the pulse wave, or not everybody, but you pick one person that got hit with the pulse wave, and everyone adjacent to them takes a token. It's really strong. Like sometimes I'm just dropping off Harley to pulse wave and use that so that their retaliation is dampened in a way. If everybody has an extra token that you didn't expect to have, I'm gonna probably lose less pieces on your like crackback turn. And then my other favorite one is the stun arrow. I learned at Nats that it's particularly useful against Camo. If you can hit Camo with a stun arrow, like he's pretty much not doing anything on that turn.
Or Colossus.
Or Colossus, really. Yeah, the stun arrow is just so strong. These are like tempo setting arrows rather than team wipe arrows like Big or Too Dangerous.
And
then honestly, like
it is
Phantom Arrow too.
Is that a lot of people look at the trick arrows and all it is in their head is, oh, this is a great way for me to just dump a ton of damage. And they've written off 90% of the arrows. So you not only found a piece that people weren't really playing, people talked about Harley Quinn, nobody put it on the map. And then to assign trick arrows that people are also not used to playing against, the element of surprise just seems to really work in your favor. And yeah, I love that.
Sure.
I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean that's probably dwindling here. Like the more I play Harley Quinn, but for some reason people just still don't seem to play her that much. So it feels like the Harley Quinn experience that people get against her is usually just me, or maybe like a few people here and there, but it's not all that commonly played still. So maybe I'll still have a little surprise.
I think so. We'll see. Now it's out in the open. All your tactics, all your tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Proceeds to not win a single game of Heroclix the rest of the year, thanks to this podcast.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't tell them about the Dial H curse, did we?
Oh, dude,
Oh,
you didn't mention
no.
that before we started recording? No, it's huge, guys.
No. Oh no.
I'm so sorry about your championship run, Joe. I hope you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
over.
It's over, dude. Crash out now.
Yeah. Someone on another podcast that I was on said that we should do this on the Dial H stream at Worlds when it's all over. We should have a little boat in like a bathtub that we set on fire and put my 048 Ghost Rider on. Now that he's going out to do like a Viking ceremony for Ghost Rider.
I like. Okay,
Yeah.
We're so down with that.
I think you need that.
I
think you need that.
I really need that emotional. It's gonna be a sad day.
one of my favorite like on stream events, and people can like this or dislike this. I loved it when Dylan Castlebaum won. He's not a fan of tarot cards. We don't like tarot cards as like a game mechanic. We think they were always bad for the game. Just never really vibed with them as a game mechanic. He didn't like him either. After he won, he like ripped. Well, I forget what card it was, but he ripped it in half, crunched it on stream. I was like, that's so sick. Was it
the
Fool?
Hermit? The Fool?
I think it was the one that had
Mad
Mad
Jim
Jim. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I was
not
like,
sure.
that is so funny. I
we
died
do-
laughing.
We do have that relic in our house, and I would like to put it in a resin case, the ripped
That'd be
tarot
sick.
card. So we'd be happy to take your burnt Ghost Rider as well, Joe.
I
If you
will have
happen
to
to
get.
win Worlds.
I'll have to
And-
get another. I'll have to get another Ghost Rider because the current one I have is signed by Scott Porter on the bottom, so I can't burn that.
Oh no, that's okay. I can get a little bit of acetone. Just takes that right off. Sharpie we can remove it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh man, is there anything you're kind of building with, Joe? It's a little. Are we sticking tried and true? What's the experimentation going on? And we talked a little bit about
Yeah.
like Iron Man, but like, what are some things you've been experimenting with lately?
Well, honestly, I think that now everyone's seen my kind of typical Ghost Rider theme, and I think that with like elevated so prevalent in the meta and people just being able to quickly kill Ghost Rider, I think I'm probably going to move on from him going into Worlds. No, I'm just messing. I'm completely messing. I'm obviously building. Yeah,
Dude, I was gonna go nuts.
No. It starts with Ghost Rider for me. I know it's a very controversial piece because I feel like everyone either thinks that Ghost Rider is S tier or they just think he's like an average hypersonic defensive piece and don't really kind of look at the nuance of the piece. So the crazy thing that I was saying to a friend the other day is if I had to take my current build, I would start looking at that 30-point slot with Cheer Panther because I really just don't think he is. I'm not saying I'm not going to play him in the future, but for my build, I'm not sure if he's necessary anymore. He's just kind of an added benefit. And also, if I had to take one large piece off the team, it would not be Ghost Rider. Obviously, it would be Colossus Prime, and that might be like it's a very hot take, I know. But the way that I built the team originally was started with Ghost Rider and Kevin and Prodegaton and some of the other support around Ghost Rider. And the way that I play the team is it's a Ghost Rider team. It's not a Colossus team. And I could get more into why that is and why I built that way and play the team that way. But Ghost Rider is the piece that, Colossus is just amazing. He's just a stat hoss, and especially with the destroyer armor, he's just insane. But Ghost Rider enables Colossus on that team to play. Like, for instance, in my Pat Frazier top 16 match, he was playing double Pegasus Captain America, and he had a Weasel, he had 3 copycats, I think. So all of them had enhancement, and then he had Avengers TA. So both of his Pegasus Captain Americas were hitting for 14 and 6. So Colossus is just dead if Ghost Rider does not exist on my team. And so Ghost Rider, while he doesn't get insane value in every game, and some games he's just kind of a utility piece more so than an attacker, like in that matchup, I don't even end up making it the top 8 if I'm not playing Ghost Rider on that team, because he enables Colossus to sit on square 4 or 5 like I do in pretty much every one of my matchups. And he enables Colossus to play the way that I do with Colossus, pretty much just W key the entire game with Colossus. I can only do that because Ghost Rider's on the team, and I think that's what people kind of miss about Ghost Rider. It just allows me to play with a certain freedom on the board that no other piece in the game allows. So that's why I love that piece. So if I had to take a piece off, it would be Colossus and Cheer Panther, and then just look at all of the best. It's kind of built to be like a 2 primary attacker team with a lot of support behind it. So I'd probably start looking at pieces like Hadari, or one that's in Lantern. I know this might not be legal for Worlds, but another one that would fit kind of perfectly with my team, I think, is Alan Scott, the one that can't be targeted from range, which is also just an insane, like, game-changing ability. But yeah, just honestly, I'm probably going into regionals. Going into regionals, I'm gonna try to start building with completely different, like a completely different build around Ghost Rider, maybe like a Spirit of Vengeance, or yeah, that's the big one I think. Like Spirit of Vengeance, I played him at Rock Cup, and people figured out after Rock Cup how to really break him with the 4 Thanoses and the Beholder, like, or three Thanoses and a Beholder, stuff like that. That's kind of the cheesy. It's really strong and powerful. I'm not saying that they didn't, have a good strategy, but that's kind of the cheesy way to play that piece, because it's just you get 1,200 points on the board in some games. But I think the better way to play that piece is how he's going to be changed in the future, or how he already has been changed. Because the way I played him at Rock Cup, and it was in a Highlander event, so I just played that piece going into that event, knowing that all my pilots were going to be unique anyways, and he gets 4 different powers and 4 different pilots. So it just makes him, if you play him just as an attacker, I think it makes him more of a versatile piece all around, rather than just I'm going to try and self damage him as quick as I can to get Thanos out, or whoever, like Phoenix Wolverine or whoever out. So I'm going to really take a long look at that piece, just as an attacker, and kind of try and play him as he was intended to be played, not just as I'm going to sit and try and self-damage him and pop pilots out, because he's so much more of a nuanced and effective piece if you're playing him the way that he was made for, I think.
Absolutely. With kind of rewinding what you were saying earlier, and speaking of Spirit of Vengeance, with Ghost Rider, you're talking about elevated being a thing that kind of counters him, where you throw it under him, you break adjacency, his trait's no longer as effective. So
Yep.
You're kind of getting your Ghost Rider nerfed due to Spirit of Vengeance popularity. We've heard a lot of talk about people playing 1x2 elevated to get rid of Spirit of Vengeance. Does that worry you at all with playing Ghost Rider?
If I'm going to be honest, not at all. If I knew going into Worlds that every team was going to have 3 pieces of 1x2 elevated on their team, I would still auto play Ghost Rider, because
Wow.
yeah, this might be a hot take. The way that I play the team, if I'm playing a team with Ghost Rider and 5 other attackers that are 30 points or whatever, and he's protecting 5 pieces, it's a lot worse to go against the elevated trick. But the way I play the team is just, 1 other big attacker, or maybe 2 attackers. And if you run up there and drop that, it is an effective strategy to separate him from the team. But you still have to deal with Ghost Rider. You're never going to get around his powers. And even if you do that on my current build with Colossus, you still have to hit a 22. So a lot of times, like, I played against Pat Frazier, I go back to that match, like, he had an elevated terrain and a super strength piece, and he could easily have ran that piece up there and placed elevated underneath Ghost Rider. But it doesn't really matter a lot of the time. Like, it's, first of all, it's not as easy to do that as you think, because
No,
I'm
definitely not.
yeah, I'm
Definitely
not gonna, because I'm not gonna put my Ghost Rider, like, I'm gonna make it hard to get there. I'm gonna put him out of range of that piece that can hold the elevated, so you at least had to, like, TK a piece and run up there. So you're already burning 2 actions to get up there and place the elevated underneath him, and then you probably can't finish off Colossus anyways most of the time. I'm not saying it's not an effective way to counter Ghost Rider. It is, but it's a lot. It's not a silver bullet to him in my mind. It is in some people's minds, but it's just not in my mind.
So if that isn't the silver bullet, well, I suppose I shouldn't reveal what do you think your silver bullet is, but if you want to answer that.
No, I can.
Please, bro, tell us.
I can definitely. I think
Help
I can
us out
definitely
here, man.
Yeah. I think I can definitely answer that, and JM can speak to this, because we've seen it happen. It's happened to me before in practice. Dylan, I've practiced with Dylan Castlebaum quite a bit, and a long time ago when plants were a big thing, he was trying some plant builds, and Swamp Thing Prime is probably. I mean, I could think of some other pieces that do well. Like, even JM was talking about Harley. with the Phantom Zone. If you can just poof Ghost Rider away just with one action, like a Phantom Zone, that's worth it a lot of the times. But I think the only silver bullet to help kill Ghost Rider fast is Swamp Thing Prime, and if you're going to Worlds with the current juice situation with Swamp Thing Prime, in my mind, you're not going to that tournament to win the entire tournament, because you have a 75-point piece that's so built into free actions. Like you're building that piece based around free actions, and so you have to think about the whole meta. I can't be scared of one piece if I think that one piece will not be played a lot. So it's kind of a meta guessing game. There's really, and maybe JM can throw a couple pieces out there that he thinks I really don't mind, because it actually helps me prepare.
Yeah, I've got one just that's in the same vein as a Swamp Thing, and also one that kind of falls in the category of one that I think is kind of fringe competitive. Like you can really do something with it. I've seen Wes Summers do it at King of New Orleans. His team is really good with it. But is the Deadpool Weapon X Super Rare Magneto, because he has an attack special power that says when Magneto hits until your next turn, hit targets can't reduce damage or be healed. Pretty good. He also has that power unequipped thing. Like that's a lot stronger now than it was 6 months ago. There's a lot more people equipped now.
I mean, I would love for someone to innovate or play that piece, because that sculpt is amazing. I love Magneto. So
beautiful.
So beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, so
if
I think
anybody wants to specifically take out Joe at Worlds, you heard it here first. Go ahead, play your Black Lantern Swamp Thing or play Magneto. They'll throw out ideas.
I think Magneto would be a better piece. He would be a much better piece to currently build around, is the crazy thing.
I agree.
Swamp Thing Prime.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he
doesn't rely on free actions at all.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really own free actions. And the thing, like, I think if you're thinking about Ghost Rider and how to counter him going into Worlds, if that's one of your concerns facing Ghost Rider, you just have to accept the fact that you're never going to take away Ghost Rider's powers. There's no gimmick or trick to take away his powers. But it's like the Magneto thing or the Swamp Thing thing. If you can do those weird interactions that get around the language and say, he can still use Invincible, he just can't reduce damage. Or, he can still use, like, one of the Silver Age ones that was viable last year was the Nine of Swords card, because everyone was running super senses on Ghost Rider. And if Nine of Swords pops up, you can still use super senses, you just can't evade attacks. So it's like a language thing with Ghost Rider. You got to look for ways to essentially outwit his
language.
Yeah, you got to speak his language.
Yeah,
you got to
smooth talk him.
His heart.
Yeah, you got to really smooth talk him.
You got to be a little sweet to him. Get on his good side. Going into Worlds, though, guys, obviously Beetlejuice. We can talk about Beetlejuice if you guys would like. We can talk about some pieces that are maybe a bit hurt by him. But what's the mindset going into Worlds? What are you expecting outside of Beetlejuice? What's the prominent things that you're looking at and maybe preparing for or planning to play yourself? Obviously, Joe, you're probably not changing too much. So, John Michael, we'll throw it to you.
I'm strongly considering playing a Doctor Doom team. Like I really want to play a Doctor Doom team. I think he's pretty juice proof. I talked to Emilio Gutierrez at Nats, who's a pretty premier Doom player, and he is convincing me. He's like, dude, I want Juice out on the board. Doctor Doom doesn't care. So I think that's a good one. I think you can.
His Doctor Doom build also ran Ghost Rider, right?
One of them for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we can't escape this guy.
He's everywhere. I think you're going to see Myrn and Jennifer Kale a bunch.
Yeah.
People are really worried about the Destroyer armor, and they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Myrn and Jennifer Kale just both really do a number on that piece. I was talking to somebody. If you're thinking about playing Collector with Destroyer armor, you need to be careful about thinking about your matchup with Jennifer Kale and Myrn specifically, because you've now used a 15-point equipment to make your character worse in a lot of ways. Because you're not going to get the defense bump, but you're going to have less range, less reach, and you're not going to be able to see over giant characters. You're not gonna be able to auto break free from regular size characters.
As a counterpoint to that, if you saw the Jennifer Kale across the board, you could elect to put the Destroyer on a different click than the +2 defense. Might not be the smartest thing, but maybe there's a world
Yeah,
where you do
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, if anything, I absolutely agree. I think you should just have those thoughts in mind about like, what do I do? Don't depend on that +2 defense from the Destroyer armor necessarily. Don't let that be your only defense really, because I feel pretty confident that people are going to be playing Mern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think effects that another one, and people always kind of hone in with Elsa Prime right now on the fact that she can't do a free attack when you do whatever. But like Elsa Prime, if you can get some buffs, like some attack buffs on her and stuff like that, if you can just get one attack off on for instance, my Colossus, if you just sacrificed your Elsa Prime and all you got off on that alpha, and maybe you sacrifice 50 points, with the mobility to get her up there or whatever it is. If you just get her up there and do hit that attack, you could easily with like Zala and Weasel, for instance, you could get her attack to a 14, and then Cathan maybe so 15. So you have to hit a 7 on Colossus, and even if she dies next turn, she did her job because she stripped Colossus of the thing that makes him broken right now. He's already broken before, but now he's like super broken with the short armor. So if you can just do a play like that early in the game and remove a huge tool from the other team, even if you're sacrificing points, it's going to help you so much in the long run in that game, because now he doesn't get the giant reach. He doesn't move through characters when he's charging. He doesn't get to go every turn because he loses the giant size willpower. So there are some pieces that get hurt by juice, but I think going into Worlds, you need to, don't be afraid to build with free actions, but just don't build a team that solely relies on free actions to be the engine of it. Because Scott Crampton made an awesome post the other day on Facebook, and he was saying how strong Main Force Beetlejuice is, but at the same time, if you build a team that doesn't rely solely on free actions, like my team or John Michael's team that he played at Nats, or a lot of other teams, like Doom, for instance, or all these teams, if they're going up against a Main Force Beetlejuice, that Beetlejuice essentially is dead weight now because he's not getting value from taking away a bevy of free actions. And he's a pretty subpar attacker because, he probably will have Destroyer armor on him or something like that. So he can't really, he's not going to be putting out a lot of damage. He's just going to be sitting beside his Kong or beside his Spirit of Vengeance or whatever piece it is. So I think pieces like Elsa and pieces that people write off a lot right now with juice around, I think they need a second look, because there's still ways to mobilize Elsa and get her up there to get that big hit off to Trick Arrow big or Trick Arrow too dangerous, and then just take multiple equipments from people. You can still do that with that piece. So I think pieces like that should also be looked at.
Absolutely. Not every team is going to have Beetlejuice either. It's just a matter of how many people are really going to go and play the Main Force juice. It could be like a Boogeyman situation. Not too long ago with Wonder Woman 80, we had something similar where the sky was falling. Secret Six had come out. This is the team that destroys the meta. And then almost nobody played it after a couple weeks because it's like, oh, if I go first, I can just absolutely crush them. So everyone cooled off on it. And we might see a similar effect with Beetlejuice, but I think you guys are absolutely correct in saying you beat Beetlejuice at the point of the build. You just have to be aware that he could be there, not necessarily that he is.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, similar to the Bloodstone, really, honestly, I think.
Sure. So any other things that you think players out there should be concerned about going into Worlds? What are the big bads you guys are worried about? Is Kong making a resurgence? He's kind of cooled off a bit.
I think so, for sure. I think, especially if you're looking at ease of access, relatively cheap, really strong, fun to play with. I think if you're the Kong player, you're usually having fun. I think, and pretty juice proof. Like I think Kong is a good bet to be at
Mhm.
Worlds. I think, dude, it wouldn't surprise me if you see Mern, Phoenix Sentinel, and Phoenix Pog either, because maybe people all it takes is for a few people to stop thinking about Mernable keywords, and then like that
Right.
happens to me all the time. And then I show up with a team that has a bunch of Mernable stuff, and I'm like, oh great, just you're about to blow me up.
Yep. I think I think I think you need to look at those pieces going into world. It's like you were saying, Ian. Like it all starts. You win matches before you even play the matches. You win matches when you're building the team and playing matches in your head, essentially. And if you account for pieces and say there's a strong likelihood that I'll play against this piece, but I'm not going to over concern myself with it. And there's even, and just to go to another kind of topic, like there's those fringe pieces that you really need to, like those fringe meta pieces, but that are like hyper effective in certain matchups. You need to really because with Worlds, it's definitely about making top cut, obviously. But once you get to top cut, that's when you start playing against those teams that are really creative and not seen a lot. For instance, the one that's coming to my mind right now is that the Gauntlet Spider-Man. There's a lot of creative ways to play that Spider-Man to self-damage him and strip an entire team's equipment and their sideline. And if they're playing that piece effectively, they can have a team that scores 40 or 50 points right off the rip because he scores all their equipment, all their one shots, this, that, and the other, and just takes away a lot of core mechanics to their team. So if you're playing a team that you've built and it's over reliant on sideline mechanics or over reliant on equipment being on your primary attacker, and you run up against that Spider-Man, you might be in trouble. But if you haven't made your team completely reliant on your Hadari having universal weapon or something like that, then you're going to be in the clear because that Spider-Man, he's got a very strong mechanic that can, like I've seen that Spider-Man win tournaments. But at the same time, if he doesn't get that big gimmick off, he's pretty much dead weight. It's kind of like the juice thing, but you need to have these pieces in your mind because that Spider-Man's a pretty subpar 75-point piece if you don't take into account his trait or his stop click.
I just don't see a ton of play utilizing Spider-Man. I hear a lot of talk about him.
He won.
I know, but
he won like a 20-person event.
Yeah, it's just not a piece I vibe with totally, and I think less.
He
so
did
now.
Or like what? When he goes to his stop click, he's pretty much just a leap climb piece.
Yeah,
the flavor on that piece though is amazing.
Yeah.
But
flavor's great. Yeah. No, flavor's great. I love the flavor. I'm just saying, as far as the competitive piece goes,
he does have double prop control. If not for nothing.
True.
Interesting enough, he had the Spider-Man equipped with trick arrows as well, which I thought. I don't know. I look at that, and yeah, I mean, there's the element of surprise coming back to the conversation where it's like, what are you doing with this?
What's going on?
I love
What's
it.
the move? Joe, you had a couple of announcements that you wanted to make on the pod.
Oh, sure.
I want to make sure we get to these. Some of these are pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. So the first one I have to make is really exciting. So after I won Champion Clicks a few months back, I linked up with Chris Gordon. He's actually the owner of the Comic Dimension store in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout out to Chris. Chris Gordon, great guy. And we were already kind of friends because I had played at like state championship, the state tournament last year, and we had talked there a little bit. And it was a big tournament. There was like 35 people at our silver event in North Carolina, and we were talking some. And then he called to congratulate me after Champion Clicks, and we got to talking about the basics of Heroclix and how 300 Modern is amazing, but at the same time, it's in a lot of ways it's anti new player, because you get into these competitive events and a new player might be going to try and play, and they see the character of the opponent's force, and there's maybe 7 or 8 main force characters, and then there's 5 or 6 equipments because all people get free equipment now. Like half the pieces in the game get free equipment. So you have all these equipments, all these characters, and then all these sideline actives like one shots, Cathan, all the avatars, this, that, and the other, like primes are sideline active. Beetlejuice sideline active, obviously Beetlejuice, and it really bogs the game of Heroclix down, and it's a lot of it's a lot of good things, especially for a competitive player that's been playing a long time that doesn't bother them. But we were talking about it, and Chris made a funny point, and this is how the conversation started. He was saying, I wish it just felt more like comics, like it used to when you were playing Heroclix. Of Green Lantern has the Green Lantern ring, and Thor has Mjolnir, and this, that, and the other. And I threw the point out. I was like, well, why don't we just make a new format, Chris, and we can start hosting these tournaments in North Carolina, and maybe it'll grow, and maybe it'll be a really cool thing. And we just started from there, and we kept on talking, and we were like, dude, let's. And I was like, I think Chris was, we didn't know exactly where the conversation was leading, but I was like, Chris, I'm serious. This sounds amazing, and it sounds like Heroclix. It just sounds like good old-fashioned Heroclix with pieces and with elements that, with equipment that goes on the pieces that it is supposed to go on. Like, you're never going to go up in the comics. I don't think Colossus ever got Destroyer armor, for instance. And so we've created this new format, and it's going to be called Diamond format. And we're going to start running tournaments in North Carolina, and it's going to start at Chris's store, the Comic Dimension in Greensboro, for anyone who's interested or who wants to reach out to me or Chris on Facebook. And the first tournament is going to be September 6th at the Comic Dimension in Greensboro. And the format rules, essentially, we've got a document that we'll release to the public soon. But basically, the essentials of the format are no sideline active, which that's a huge one that might be a little controversial, but just hang with me because I think it is an awesome idea by Chris and myself, and even Dylan Castlebaum has kind of been our little consultant, and me and Dylan have ran some practice games with this format already, and it just seems so much more smooth in certain ways. So it's no sideline active. All equipment that is on your force must be given to that character free. So we did it that way so that pieces like Collector and other pieces like Phantom X Legacy, no one plays him, but there's a lot of pieces that just get equipment for free, but they don't have a qualifying keyword. So we wanted to let them still use their cool abilities. So if you have equipment on the force, it must be given to a character for free. And then we have a limit per force. It's 300 modern, by the way. We have a limit to every force can only have 3 special objects. So you can only have, a phone booth and 2 equipment, or all equipment, or all special objects. And then the last, there are a couple more big things, but it's only characters allowed. So, that might go into some other things like generators and stuff like that, but you can only play your force with characters on the force. And you can still generate time breakers and that sort of thing, but just to get around anything that we think might be anti-new player friendly, because we want this format to be new player friendly, and we still want it to be very competitive. We just want it to be a less bogged down version of Heroclix. So when me and Dylan were practicing this, we found that in the games that we practiced, we were getting we're fast players, obviously, faster than some people, but we were getting 15 to 20 turns in, which was awesome to see, because now in Modern sometimes you only get 3 or 4 turns. So those are the big rules of the format. It is Highlander, just like Pulp and Silver. So I think it just opens up a new, fresh meta, kind of like Pulp does or Silver. And yeah, we're really excited about it. The tournament will be September 6th at the Comic Dimension in Greensboro. It is there's a lot of prizes that Chris will have, just random chases that he will give out as prize support. Like there's Kevin, there's a lot of the there's a lot of smash and destroy chases, a lot of the good pogs like Timebreaker, Moondrat. Like there's a lot of pieces, and then the first place winner will actually get a cash reward, $500 for first place of that event, and a Lantern Legacy brick.
Heck of a casual event you're running here.
Yeah,
some good pricing. I do.
For real.
Yeah, So that yeah. So we really want to pump this up because we really believe in it, and we've really poured a lot of time into. Chris and myself we've talked a lot about it, and we're really excited about it. The games that I've played in it, like I actually had an event tonight right before I got on the phone with you guys, and we played the Diamond format at my local venue, and it was just so fun. It was still I love the format because it still allows you to play with all the pieces that you love in the game, like chases or LEs or legacies or anything, but it's just a faster, more streamlined version of Heroclix. So that's the first announcement.
So this format, really quickly, 300 modern, Highlander, only 3 special objects. That includes if they have like real qualifying whatever name, you can still only ever equip 3 people. And
Correct.
then also any special object and any extra terrain. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Gotcha. And then no sideline active. Yep.
And no sideline. That's the biggest one. You can still play pilots and stuff like that.
But things like pilot, I think shifting focus Batman can still be played. I want to say I don't think it actually says sideline active for him.
Yeah,
so that's really cool.
Yeah.
So okay, right on. I just wanted to kind of check, make sure we got it all.
Yeah. One more big thing is you can still, if there's like, for instance, the rare or the common Shuri or the Spider-Man chase that we were just talking about, they generate equipment from outside the game. And things like that will still be perfectly legal. You just can't start the force with more than 3 special objects. So it'll still allow characters that can hand out equipment or generate equipment and stuff like that.
Generate terrain.
Or generate terrain.
Shout out.
Yep, stuff like that will definitely still be legal. So yeah, it's really exciting announcement to make, and I know Chris and myself and Dylan and a lot of the players that know about it in North Carolina are really excited, and hopefully it'll grow to something more.
Cool, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I always like fun kind of fan formats or anything else. I know PJ a few years ago did Not So Special, which was like a pretty fun format to play every once in a while. So I enjoy people being creative within the world of Heroclix and making their own formats. I think it's really cool. But what was your other big news we had here, Joe?
All right, so this one is one I'm really excited about. I was excited about the last one, obviously, but I'm definitely excited about this one too. So just to give you a little background, a couple of months ago at the Rock Cup, me and Nick Madison were kind of looking for another teammate to come to us with Rock Cup at the Highlander event, the 3v3 Highlander event, and the Scott Porter Invitational. And Joe Alves was actually our original third member, but unfortunately he couldn't go to the event due to some stuff that he had going on. So kind of last minute, we were like, who's some good players that would come to the event? And we were kind of in a scramble. It was like a week and a half out, and we lost Joe Alves. And we were looking for it was like, man, we're not going to be able to replace Joe. Like, he's one of the best players in the game. And we were kind of freaking out. And me and Kenny Minks had linked up at Champion Clicks on a team. And I was like, man, maybe I can just reach out to Kenny. I know he's not going to the event, but maybe he'll be down to go if we tell him, me, him, and Nick have a really good shot of winning the tournament or winning the event. So I reached out to Kenny and spent a couple hours convincing him to come along. And Kenny's an amazing player as well. Like he in my opinion, he's one of the best in the game because I've just played against Kenny multiple times at this point and played with Kenny. So I've seen his creativity for the game. And that was why he was like the first option for me to reach out to. And he's just a really good guy. So I finally convinced him to come to Rock Cup, and we get second place in the tournament. And so now we get to design a map, and me, him, and Nick were just so pumped up, and we were just having a great time together. And Kenny kind of threw out the idea. It was, I want to make it clear, this was 100% Kenny Mink's plan and idea. And I was hesitant about it at first, just because I've been in Heroclix. I've got my local group. I've got some friends that I play with, and I'm a little bit of an introvert sometimes. But he threw out the idea of making a team. And, me and Nick we had to think about it. And after a while, we were just like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get some other good players. And we can just, start a little movement here and pick up a little bit more unknown players, but still really imaginative, creative, and great players. And us three actually met John Michael at the Rock Cup too, or at least I met John Michael. I don't know if the others had met him. And so Kenny kind of recruited John Michael as our first team member. So that's also an awesome announcement. So it's going to be Me, Kenny, Nick, John Michael, Jacob Bishop. He's the North Carolina state champion like the last 3 years. Jacob Bishop, the Prignanos, Ricky and Logan. Me and John Michael were kind of recruiting a little bit at Nats, and we kind of went up to them and talked to them a little bit about it, and they were on board. So we really loved the fact that they were going to be joining us. And then Steve Boombera, is that his name, JM?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Stephen Barrett,
Yep.
dude. Okay.
Steve and
Illuminati.
our last one is kind of a celebrity pick because he's already on a team, which is the funny thing. But he made sure that it was cool with them. He's going to still play with his own team, and they're the priority. But just kind of, it's not so much about the team. It's just about having a good group of guys to bounce ideas off of and to practice with and to maybe play in tournaments with. And the last one's Dylan Castlebaum. So it's a really just awesome group of Heroclix players. The name of the group is going to be The Syndicate. We were like going back and forth on a lot of names, and we kind of wanted to be a little bit like the Clix Illuminati, like a little bit mysterious. And The Syndicate just means like a group with a common goal at the end of the day. It is tied to some sinister groups in the comics, but we don't have any sinister goals. We really just want to start a little movement. We just want to have
The crime syndicate, obviously, is what.
Yeah, the crimes. Yeah. So we just wanted to start this little movement, and our ultimate goal, like when me, Nick, and Kenny were kind of when Kenny had got me and Nick on board, we set the standard of obviously you have to be a talented player, and a player who has passion for the game.
Why is Kenny on the team?
Oh no!
Hold on, time out. I just need to clarify what you're describing. This is not a frat. This is a team.
This is not a frat.
It's not a frat. Okay.
This is a
Just making
frat
sure.
light. Oh man, I've got to defend Kenny's honor, Connor. Kenny is the reason.
You can try, dude. You can attempt.
How about this? Kenny Minks, I can say this confidently because I was 6-1 in the Highlander event, and the one game I lost was in top 4. And Kenny Minks, he said that in his mind when he was playing the game, because you had to win 2 matches out of the 3 to advance. And Kenny was like, he was like, dude, I just knew in my mind that something was wrong in the universe, and he was actually losing his Heroclix game. And he said, like, he just started playing with almost like just superpower level freedom on the board and started making all these crazy plays. And he actually clutched up like majorly. So I would not have a map being made right now if not for Kenny Mink. So he is one of the best players in the game. I'm strongly convicted of it. But yeah, I know you guys have like a fun relationship where you guys cut up a lot. But we're really excited about the group. I don't know if John Michael wants to speak to any of that.
Oh, dude, it's just for me, it's weird because just 6 months ago, I told Joe this. When I first played against Scott Crampton, he'd like introduced himself to me. We played, and then he's like, "You should check out this podcast." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then like a few months later, I'm playing, and all these people are like, "You know who Scott Crampton is, right?" And I'm like, "No, who is he?" And they're like, "He's like pretty big in here." And I'm like, "Okay." And then so to go from that moment where I'm like, I don't know anybody, to the point where the guy who won CCO and then ultimately Nats is asking me to join his team is pretty. I feel pretty honored by it, to be honest. Sometimes I feel like I don't belong.
Oh, come on!
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think one of the standards that me, Kenny, and Nick set were obviously a good player, like I was saying, but we wanted each player on the team to. It was so much more than just being a good player for us. We wanted them to be imaginative with their team builds, with how they play the game. That might can get into a conversation later about team builds or anything like that. But we wanted them to just be solid, honest players that play with integrity. I'm not saying that there are a lot
Kenny
of players
is on the
in
team,
game.
so let's
slow it down. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Kenny's gonna kill. He's gonna
taking
get
body
you.
shots right now.
He can't
walk across a crosswalk. I don't know if I'm too scared of
Dang.
Fighting me.
Damn.
That might have been a little low.
Yeah. Oh, my
Having
goodness.
fun. We're having fun here.
Yeah, we're
It's my
having fun.
show. It's my show.
Right, Kenny? We're having fun, right, Kenny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's nodding. I'm sure he agrees.
Yeah, for sure. But we just wanted each player on the team to be one of those guys when you're across the board from them, whenever even if you're losing or winning, you're playing against that player. Like John Michael is one of those. I've played against John Michael multiple times now, and I've had some losing moments where I'm down points and it's a really stressful game. But throughout that entire game, I'm like, wow, this is an awesome experience being able to play against this guy who honestly just wants both of us to have a good time playing the game we love. And I can say confidently, all these guys, they play with that kind of fire and passion for the game that no matter if they're winning or losing, they're good sports, and they're very creative, and it's just a positive experience playing Heroclix with them. And I want that kind of love and passion to just go out into the community.
Well, I dig that. That's pretty sick, dude. New team, new format, all sorts of fun stuff shaking up in this like crazy just getting into the world of competitive, getting into the community. I love that you've been able to find like such a great home and just meet so many amazing people and really just dive into Heroclix so much more than just how you have been playing since you were, a kid. That rocks. I got a big question for you guys to kind of get us close to closing the show here. So any shout outs you want to make really quickly, you totally can. But what I really like is always asking someone what figure they would choose to make if they won Worlds. I think that's like one of the coolest prizes WizKids like ever offers is the fact that you get to choose a character. They get to be made into HeroClix. I've talked, we talked like Dylan Castlebaum and Nick Madsen when they were obviously going into their finals match. Like that was really cool to hear like who they would make or like their top 3 or whatever. So there's been all sorts of cool characters. Like I said, like that Nightcrawler. That's a piece because someone won, right? That was I don't remember if it was Nationals or Worlds or whatever, but when Ben Chung designed Nightcrawler, right, or he chose to have that Nightcrawler made. Same thing. Some of my favorite figures like Red Sun Lex Luthor from Isaac's 2019 Worlds win. Like that figure rules. Saul's John Constantine, huge. So what are some figures or what are some characters? Oh, there you go.
Yep. Or no, I wasn't saying Juggernaut. I was saying Tyler Spees' Juggernaut.
Tyler Spees' Juggernaut. Yeah, he was cool. He was sick.
I would say if I won Worlds, I would either pick. It would be between two, a villain and a superhero. If I picked, I'll start with the hero. If I won Worlds, I would make a Silver Surfer. I don't think that there's been some really cool Silver Surfers, but I don't think there's ever been just a regular, straight up how he is in most of the comics that he's in. I don't think there's been a Silver Surfer, the norm Silver Surfer made in HeroClix yet that really gives him all of the credit that he's due in terms of what he can do for the heroes around him, and just his overall power level.
Notoriously undersung or just bad in HeroClix. The Fantastic Four rare was like pretty solid, but I would agree with you. It's not.
It's funny.
That's the best one.
It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny that you say that because that's my favorite. That's my favorite Silver Surfer because it feels like you're playing with Silver Surfer with that one. He's unplayable now, but he's a really cool piece still. And yeah, just a Silver Surfer like that. And then my villain pick would be Doctor Doom. He's my favorite villain in Marvel or just comics in general. Yeah, Doctor Doom, and it would be specifically there was a comic where he got kind of like outcast, or I can't remember exactly what was happening. It might have been something with Kang the Conqueror, where him and Kang had kind of teamed up, and he was like lost in the tundra, and he was trying to find his way back to Latveria, and he had like tamed this grizzly bear, and he was like riding back on the grizzly bear. Kenny Minks actually made me like a custom made like little wood HeroClix like holder for tokens and stuff like that and tarot cards. And it was an awesome little excerpt from the comics because when he makes it back to Latveria, he's talking to his subordinates, and And he's like, "This is my comrade Novak. See that he's fed." And he like named his bear, and he had called it his comrade. So I'd probably make a Doctor Doom riding on a grizzly bear if I could. That would just be, and maybe like a pod generator. He could generate like this grizzly bear with blades and flurry or whatever. So it'd be a Doctor Doom definitely.
Gotcha. So we have a Doctor Doom with a grizzly bear coming soon, guys. As, the streak will probably continue. But John Michael, what about you?
I would. My mind immediately goes to King Thanos from Thanos Wins.
Ooh,
Thanos is my favorite character in comics, but I want King Thanos with the armor and the sword Twilight. I think you could make him like a tent pole in the caliber of Ultra Chase Collector. If you don't know, that's the same series that Cosmic Ghost Rider originated from. It's
this is the one where he has like he's got like the Hulks on the leashes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can make an entire Chase theme from that, honestly. So it'd be him, and like, honestly, if I'm getting too like Joe, I want that Silver Surfer with Mjolnir whenever he shows up, and he tells Thanos tells him something along the lines of like, what were you waiting for? And Silver Surfer says something like, I wasn't waiting, I was working on becoming worthy. The hammer comes to him, and oh man, that's one of the coolest comics. Yeah, I'm grinding out here, being a good guy.
While you were out at those parties, I was studying the blade. I was studying the hammer. That's the Silver Surfer I need.
Yeah, grind mindset surfer.
Dude. Yeah, that's the trait.
Grind set.
The grind set Silver Surfer. I love it. That would be like a top 10 Heroclix nickname for a figure. That would be so sick.
The grind set surfer.
You get like, Switch or, Saki or like whoever else. It's like, dude, I got grind set surfer right now, bro. Hitting him with the grind set.
Just works.
Dude, when you clock out, I'm clocking in. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm addicted to grind set. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing a lot of your thoughts, your ideas behind your team builds, and a lot about like the meta, obviously a lot of like you as people and you as players. So I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. We're gonna do our closing thoughts, our closing out here. So really quick, and I do mean really quick, Joe. We're gonna do some shout outs.
Dude, you're just coming for everybody, man.
So
oh my goodness.
Hey. I'm trying to clock into my next job after this, bro. I'm addicted to the grind set. I can't help it.
I work for the government, so.
Oh, then don't work too hard.
Yep. I won't.
All right, good. That's all I like to hear. But any quick shout outs you guys want to make, and then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up.
You go first, Sam.
Shout out Wesley Summers, dude. Was his entire crew was just really wonderful at King of New Orleans, and then at their ICE regional in Birmingham. And I feel like, part of their goodwill is why I was more willing to be more invested in the game. And also, I just, one of my last thoughts is sometimes I think people get nervous whenever they hear names like Isaac. But what's so cool about playing a player like Isaac is not that he's like trying no gotcha stuff. Like those players aren't doing scary gotcha moments. They're like they're quick and fast and efficient. And I think sometimes people get nervous about it, but like players like Isaac are some of the most fun experiences you can have. Like he's just a joy to play against. And the same is true of Joe, honestly. And I think sometimes people, if you've never played against someone of that caliber, you might think like, are they doing shady stuff to get there? And it's like, no, they're not. They're not. They're actually like, no, really honorable players. That's just one of my final thoughts.
Those are some good group of guys. All like Wes Summers' crew, Isaac, those guys will rock. Joe?
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be up here. It was really, really awesome to be on Dial H. The thing that when I started getting back into Heroclix, I was like, are there any like podcasts and stuff like that? I just want to listen to people talk about the game and stuff like that. And you guys were one of the first ones that I found. So it's just, it is literally surreal being here talking with you guys. I have a lot of respect for y'all's passion for the game and just your love for, progressing the game of Heroclix. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to my family and friends watching. Shout out to the Syndicate, the new team I'm with, and shout out to Chris Gordon. Chris Gordon is actually sponsoring our team. The guy that's making that format with me, he's sponsoring the Syndicate. So it's an awesome time to just be in Heroclix, meeting all these new friends like JM and Nick and Kenny. It's just a really blessed. I just feel really blessed and thankful for the opportunity of all these things. Shout out to my girlfriend Kylie, if she watches. She will.
Name drop. Let's go.
I'll send the name drop. Hey Kylie. It's just a really exciting time. I'm thankful to you guys, and I'm just thankful to God. God bless Dilation. God bless Heroclix.
Well, thank you so, dude. Right on, Joe, dude. I love it, man. Hey, thank you so much for listening for so long. I didn't realize that rules, dude.
Yep,
I super
years.
Appreciate that. Whoa,
2 years.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Best 2 years there.
Yep, best 2 years of my life.
Guys, that is going to close out our show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to John and Joe for getting on the podcast, gabbing with us, hanging out. Like always, Dial H is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. You can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. And you can go to shop.whizkids. And you use the code DialH10 for 10% off your order over there. Not usable with certain pre-orders, promos, or iconics. And that's right, Ian. Craftworks Forge, July 17th. Prism packs. You want to check them out. You're going to want to buy them. Guys, thank you so much for listening. And like always, happy trails.